And today, in today's topic, I'm going to talk about basically Japan's tourism situation. I've done a lot of thinking when it comes to tourism in Japan. I've just come back from a trip in Japan, and it's made me realize, especially I think when I travel, I did a trip with my friend Oriental Pearl, and I think that one of the things is that when you travel on your own, you don't sometimes you don't notice many of the issues that are there, and it's when you're with somebody else that you start realizing that actually there are quite a few issues that need to be fixed, that need to be solved in Japan. And if you're a first-time traveler to Japan, then you need to know about these things. If you're a return traveler, I know Japan's an amazing country, and I've just put out a 14 things I hate about traveling in Japan. A little bit dramatic, I know, I know, but the reality is that if you are going to Japan for the first time, you're probably not going to notice any of these things. But if you are a repeat traveler, then you're going to start picking up on tiny little things that could be better, that nag at you, and yeah. So that's basically where we're at here. And just a few things I want to mention. First of all, we've got our tip jar back. I don't know if it's going to work. We've got our event list back of the last people that sort of like subscribe or gift or whatever. And I know I'm missing the patron bar, but I'm trying to set everything up here on this setup here in the office. Still have a little bit more work to do, but for those of you who are accustomed to my streams, then this will look a little bit familiar. Usually this is my winter setup, basically because it's cooler now. I can actually stream here. This room is really hot in the summer months. So yeah, basically let's get straight to it and see who's here. I encourage you to say hello, please. Hey, Jim Ross just gifted 5 gifts. I have to set up the whole balloons and all that, so I do apologize, Jim, but I'll do my own little my own sound effects. I don't actually have that set up on this computer. I'm on a different computer. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, guys. All right, so we have Chris Wilson in the house. That says, hi, Nathan. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Bojo Pigeon is here. Howdy, Bojo. Japan, Ichiban, the Facebook guy himself, is here with his little ninja star next to him. By the way, if you are a member of the channel, you will get a little badge next to you and you'll have access to some awesome emojis also. Yeah. Awesome. I didn't see the intro or anything. Did you run it? No, I didn't run the intro, actually. Like I said, I'm not fully set up on this setup. I'm not fully set up on this setup. Does that make any sense? So I didn't have the intro, but I'm not very sure if an introduction is necessary unless I'm sort of trying to sort things out. Hopefully people will come in. And sometimes I know that people get a little bit confused with the introduction. So yeah. Hi Japan, Ichiban. Hi Chris. I love it when you guys talk amongst yourselves. I just heard the scariest term ever. I've just been thinking. By the way, we also have the ability to change the background color. So any donations, any gifts, etc., just shout out what color you want, and I'll try my best to change it to a color that works for you, basically. So yeah, awesome. Ooh. So who else is here? Why is the chat so quiet? There must be something wrong here. Top chat, live chat. Okay, here we go. Hello, Salted Pretzel says hello, going to Japan in February. Never nervous about using trains and buses. Is it easy? I think it's quite easy. I think that if you're in Tokyo, and actually one subscriber, I've been helping a subscriber quite a lot this week, poor guy. he sent me a message. I'm not gonna say who it is or anything. I don't wanna like you know, out anybody. But I received a message from a subscriber on Instagram, basically saying, "Hey, I've just arrived in Japan. This is my third day. I was supposed to be with somebody, and they've bailed on me for whatever reason, and now I'm on my own. This is day 3. I'm having a really hard time in Tokyo. I don't know how to get around. I am in Ikebukuro, and so I'm in Shibuya. I want to get to Ikebukuro. I don't know how to get there. I'm having a really stressful time. I don't know how to use the train. I don't know what to do, and so thankfully for the last 2 days or so, I've been giving him some one-on-one like coaching via Instagram, poor guy. And I said to him, first of all, just get accustomed with the Yamanote line. It's a loop line. It goes around Tokyo. If you miss it, literally, it will go around and you will end up in the same station again. And once you get accustomed with that Yamanote line, then you can be a little bit more adventurous and you can try some of the other lines. And thankfully, that seems to have worked, and it's opened up the whole of Tokyo. I've been following him on Instagram, and he's been going to some other places around Tokyo using the Yamanote line. So that's pretty cool, pretty cool. So yeah, I think nerves, it's normal to be nervous. It's normal to have nerves. But I think that ultimately becoming accustomed with Google Maps is probably going to be your best bet. Once you know Google Maps, and you know how to navigate from A to B using directions in Google Maps, then you're going to be so liberated. You'll pretty much be able to get anywhere. And if you absolutely are stuck, then just stick to the Yamanote line and do a lot of walking. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Jim, for the Chris membership. I'm nervous. I got that. Barbara Buono. Hello from London. Hey, how are you doing, Barbara? Thank you for being here. I spent a lot of time in London, and I'll be there in February for just under a week. And potentially maybe doing a little bit of a meetup in London in February. If you're interested in that, then maybe you might want to join the Discord to keep up to date with what's happening, etc. Frog Lady is in the house. Hey Froggy, how you doing? Thank you for being in the house. And yeah, Little Big Sis 2007. Hello everyone. Hey Little Big Sis, how are you doing? You know what? I love this community of people that return week on week. I love it. I love that you get to know each other too, and I love hearing your stories. So yeah. Yay, you gifted a sub to Japan Ichiban. Awesome. Frog Lady is in the house, and Caroline is in the house also. We're very honored. Caroline is usually in the house but lurking. By the way, today I have I have 2 drinks for this stream to get me through the stream. As if it's a chore, it isn't really a chore. I have a beer, surprisingly. I have an Alhambra, just because Alhambra Especial, just because I have 2 in the fridge, and I thought I better start using them up. So I'm gonna start with a beer, and I have a Coke Zero also, and I was gonna have a Tokyo Banana, but I don't know where I put it. Kampai, everyone. If you have any questions regarding Japan, then this is your place. Not only will I be able to answer your questions, hopefully able to answer your questions, but there'll be plenty of people in the chat which are return visitors to Japan and pretty much experts. We have a panel of freaking experts. If you're into art, if you're into architecture, Caroline is your person. You know, if you're into photography and finding spots and Airbnb, then Japan Ichiban is your person. If you're into beer, then Daingol is your person, although he's not here right now. If you're into the Inaka and places that aren't really city, then we have Jim. We have so many people in here. Froggy, who was a regular traveler to Japan too. So it's a great community of people that will be able to hopefully answer some of your questions and help you out. In the meantime, I'll drink to all of you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. Thanks for being so awesome, everyone. Oh, and Towada. If you're interested in hearing the negative side of Japan, we have Towada. If you're interested in Japan, then the background color should be indigo or change color based on the season. Towada. The way that it works is for those who gift For example, Jim Ross just gifted 5 memberships. He now gets to choose the color, which I haven't seen him tell me to change yet. But basically, if you gift, if you PayPal, if you super chat, then I will happily change the color in the background to whatever color you want. Yeah. Chris is, I'm off again to Japan next week, second time this year. Awesome. This is what it's all about. And Japan says, Yamanote or Fukutoshin line. The Fukutoshin is like an unsung hero in Tokyo. It's brown in color. There you go. Some additional pro tips there from Japan Ichiban. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Japan Ichiban, he's appeared quite a few times on my streams. And he's got a Facebook group, which I highly recommend you check out. I keep on saying this. Getting inspiration from YouTube is a great source, obviously, but some of you might want those you know, like perfect pictures, Instagram worthy pictures, etc. And I think Japan Ichiban's curated and some of his own photos, I must add, because he slapped me on the wrist the other day and I deserve it. Gomenasai, I deserve it, Alan. But yeah, some of his curated photos and some of his own photos are really inspirational. And if you're stuck for places to go, or even if you're like in Kyoto and you wanna check out his Facebook page and get inspiration, basically, is what I'm saying. So definitely. I'm gonna get a bullet train from Tokyo to Kyoto, then Osaka, and back to Tokyo. In regards to the bullet train, is it best to reserve a seat? If so, how do I do this? Thank you. I think it's definitely worth reserving a seat. You can do this from the actual train station itself. You can even do it from the machines at the train station. Don't worry about it. Definitely, if you have luggage, then a reserved seat. However, I would totally recommend on that route that seems to be quite busy to, if you can, forward your luggage, although maybe you're not there long enough to forward your luggage. I would love to meet you, planning to traveling to Japan to visit friends in November. Cannot wait. Awesome. Awesome. I can't wait for you to go either. I love people who go to Japan for the very first time. Logan's Run is here. Logan is in the house. Another recent traveler to Japan. Went and met up with Lito. Had a tour of Lito. Awesome. Oh yeah, and wood blocks. Hey Jesse, how are you doing? Jesse has a little ninja like emoji next to his name, meaning that he's a member. Robert is in the house also. And Jay says, if broken means everyone seems to want to visit there, then yeah, it's broken. Okay, Jay, on that note, and I'll get to some of your other comments in a minute, but let's get to the actual topic, which is Japan's tourism. Okay, I was a little bit clickbaity, I'm not gonna lie. Japan's tourism situation is broken. Kind of, in a way it is. In many ways it isn't. You know, for starters, you could say that Japan has an incredible transportation network with incredible trains and buses and an infrastructure that will zoom you through the country, including domestic flights that will zoom you through the country, getting from A to B, unlike any other country. And in that regard, I would say Japan is far ahead of the curve, far more advanced than so many other countries out there. And therefore, you know, that is something that's totally in, you know, as an advantage of traveling around Japan. However, what I meant by broken is some observations that I've noticed. And like I said, this all came as a result of me hanging out with Oriental Pearl and doing a little bit of traveling with her. We got the train to Kawaguchiko last week. I can still say it was last week, right? More or less last week. And there's a few things that I noticed whilst I was there with her. And that is infrastructure that isn't really set up or very friendly towards tourists. Now, I totally understand, before anybody says anything, I totally understand that, believe it or not, and we need to be realistic here, believe it or not, Western tourists are only a drop in the bucket when it comes to tourism. Asian tourisms to Japan, Asian tourists, like Chinese tourists especially, make a much bigger, you know, chunk and domestic tourism to the country also makes a very big chunk. So when I talk about broken, I'm talking in from a Westerner's point of view. Domestically, which probably wouldn't be considered as broken, because a lot of these people are used to the things that are in place and implemented in different tourist sites. But I'm going to give you the main issue. The main issue, I would say, is bottlenecks as a result of lack of infrastructure, or as a result of I want to not necessarily lack of infrastructure, but also as a lack of time. So one of the things that I noticed, for example, is that when we got to Kawaguchiko, we had to put our luggage in a locker because we were staying overnight, and we wanted to do the day trip, and leave our stuff in the locker. The number one thing that, first of all, when I got there, I was like, wow, this is amazing. They had a counter at the station, especially for tourists, and the counter was like luggage storage area, and basically you could leave your luggage there at the station, and initially that's what we were gonna do until we noticed and we realized that the main issue was that it was only till 5 p.m. So, example number one of things sort of like going 3/4 of the way, but not fully. So that meant that we couldn't use that, because obviously that would mean that we would have to rush back to the station before 5 to get our luggage, and that's not something that we wanted to do. So that's the first thing. When you put time constraints and time limits such as that, it's going to cause all sorts of bottlenecks. It's going to cause tourists rushing to get back before a certain time, etc. Number two, so as a result, we ended up having to go to a normal locker. And you know what? I would say that Kawaguchiko is very well set up for lockers. There were tons of lockers. I've been to places around Japan that are very popular, and I haven't been able to find a locker, and I've had to walk to find another locker. In this case, they had rows and rows and rows, and they had obviously, been very well prepared for tourists in terms of lockers. I think you wouldn't have a problem putting anything in a locker in Kawaguchiko. However, problem number two, and that is coins. I mean, I mentioned, the abundance of coins that you might have, but in this case, the issue was that it only took 100 yen coins, and it meant that I didn't have enough 100. I needed to put 800 yen in, 100 yen coins into the locker, which I didn't have, and it meant having and trying to find some, basically trying to find some way to change my coins. There was no change machine near the lockers. Basically, we had to go back into the station, try to get change from the station, from the store. You can already see the problem here, so this is just an example. It was a machine that did not have Suica either. So these things create confusion, they create bottlenecks, they create additional lines when you don't need to have any additional lines. For example, in this case, having to go to maybe purchase an ice cream to get change so that you can put stuff in the locker. That's an additional queue that you're creating for no reason. And these little things, like I say, Japan seems to go like 90% of the way. The infrastructure is there, but it don't go far enough to make it super easy. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if you're a domestic tourist, you'd probably be well prepared, and you'd probably be like, hey, we need coins, and you'd probably have coins prepared for these situations. But as a Western tourist, maybe not. That's all I'm going to say. So, first point, we'll carry on talking about some of the observations that I've made about lack of infrastructure and that sort of thing as we go through the chat. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Obviously, I'm going to try to get through all the chat as quickly as I can. I do tend to try to get through everyone. We love hanging out with you. Also, wonderful little group you have created. Yeah, we have an amazing group here. So yeah, Sean, hello again from near Stonehenge. Awesome. My favorite artist is Kusuma Yaoi. I love Kusuma Yaoi also. You do not want me to choose the color. Okay. Yeah. Caroline went to the exhibition here in the Netherlands last week and in Manchester earlier this year. I went to one in Kyoto a few years ago. It was pretty impressive, I have to say. Very impressive. Nathan, when you were over in Japan last time, did you hear much about the live streamers making trouble? No, this is the interesting thing. I think that overall it's a non-event. I didn't feel. Obviously, I was very cautious as a streamer myself. The only thing that I did notice is that there were more signs specifically saying no streaming. In the past, I don't think I would ever come across signs that specifically said no streaming. I might have got to stores and locations that said no photography or a video camera with a cross, but there were increasingly more places that actually said no streaming. Specifically, that's a new one, but there were also places that said photography and video okay. So it seems that I think this is going to be the way forward. I think in public there's no problem. Obviously in more private situations like stores and restaurants, I can envision, I can already see a future in Japan where there will be very clear locations and locales that will allow streaming and that will allow photography and video and that sort of thing. And you're just going to have to follow the views. But overall, not a big issue. Hey, Danny is in the house. How you doing, Danny? Thanks for being here. Is Johnny still in jail? I really hope they keep him behind bars for a long time. I'm not very sure what is happening in that situation, to be honest. I love yaoi. I'm just going through some of your messages. If you're chatting amongst yourselves, I might not read them out, okay? I think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should limit tourism, maybe create a special tourist visa needed to visit. Anyway, JNTO should really stop promoting the country. I 100% disagree with you there. I just think that the tweaks, with many tweaks, like I said, the main issue is bottlenecks at queues, bottlenecks at buses, bottlenecks at stations, and a lot of these things can be remedied quite easily with some infrastructure and some changes. And I know that some of you might say, why should a country change for tourists? And I'm not talking about cultural changes, I'm talking about simple changes such as extended opening hours of tourist spots. By simply opening a tourist location for 1 hour or 1.5 hours longer, it will mean that bottleneck that you get with everyone trying to rush or everyone leaving or trying to get to the place before the end might be remedied, that sort of thing. That's just one example. I think there can be remedies. I think that that other countries around the world have much longer opening hours, as a result of so much demand. If you have so much demand going to one location, but yet the closing hour is 4 p.m. with potentially the last. Some of these places open at 10 and close at 4. I mean, that is quite ridiculous in my opinion, right? That's what I've noticed basically. Some of these places open at 10, they close at 5 maybe, with last entry half an hour before, last entry at 4:30. Some places open at 10 with the last entry at 4, with closing at 4 with the last entry at 4:30. So you just need to consider that as an issue also. I did not start early. This is the normal start. I think that we are now on winter time, so our clocks change, so maybe things seem different. But yeah. Jim Ross, important London question. Will you be doing a live stream with Jessica? I'm a fan of your walk and talks in Gibraltar and London. You can make a green for my state of envy. Okay, let's change it for the green color because he did do the membership and come on. If it wants to work. For those of you who super chat, for those of you, there we go, green. Yeah, I don't know. London will be in February, and it also depends on whether Jessica is in London, obviously, but there'll probably be some live streams. I do like London, most likely on the Happy Guy Gin. But yeah. Hey, you got the pass also. It's a shame 98% of Indonesians won't take the new 500 yen coin. OMG, exactly. Another thing, another issue. And vending machines always take a while to update when coinage changes. So eventually we'll get there, I'm sure. Eventually we'll get there. Eventually. Japan can be extremely bad when you have to live in it, but the foreign tourists seem to be so happy and smiling. It makes me feel a bit happy. Japan, Ichiban. 11 months a member. What? On a roll. 12 months. How long until you're back in Japan? Actually, how long? How long? I'll tell you how long. Let's see. How long? 6 weeks and 2 days. That's when I leave. I will leave in 6 weeks and 2 days. Amazing, right, everyone? Awesome. And, whoa, Jesse, whoa, I have JJI beat. Just hit a year. Amazing. Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Fantastic stuff. much appreciated. Okay, let's get back to the chat. I want to know your comments, your thoughts. Oh my god, everyone is using their special let's all do green messages. Everyone is using their thanks so much. Also 11 months, much appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Super appreciate it. Everyone. Oh yeah, please press like, guys. It really helps Nathan out. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Olam Drab. A lot of people over here seem to have actually forgotten how to behave in public. That is true. Especially in a country like Japan that's so quiet and so respectful in many ways. I think people just stand out more. When they don't behave, they stand out even more than normal, which is part of the problem. Definitely part of the problem. Crazy, huh? J, tax us foreigners more, like for streetcar purchases and train tickets. I felt bad paying 60 to 70% what locals were just because of currency exchange rates. I think there are definitely, I have no problem with added, you know, like tourist tax when it comes to entering, you know, specific tourist areas or paying tourist tax at hotels within reason, obviously. I have no problem with that. I think that if the money recouped by tourist tax, like they're doing in Miyajima, goes towards the upkeep of areas and infrastructure, then it's just going to help the economy. It's going to help the tourists by having a better product, and it's also going to help the infrastructure so that they can support more tourists, which is really what's needed. A lot of the time, you know, something like having one or two extra ticket machines or one or two extra gates, a little bit more, somebody, you know, paying somebody, a member of staff to do special English translation, etc. will go a long way. Japan needs the tourist dollars too, so limiting would be unwise. Finding ways to either accommodate or advertising areas other than the Golden Route would help a lot. I think so. I agree with you, Jesse. And that's another thing I think they need to improve on, trying to get tourists to those less visited places. It is hard to do. I mean, I've been trying to convince people to go to some of the less visited places. I think they're definitely worth visiting and going to, but it is a hard sell. It is a hard sell, unfortunately. A lot of the time it's hard to do, but it can be done. But people are still going to want to do the Golden Route. This is the issue. So, Chris, I'm not doing the Golden Route this time. I'm going north, and this time got my winter clothes, as I've heard it's already snowing. I can imagine, Chris, it's gonna be cold in the north. I can assure you. Hey, and awesome! Thank you so much, Frog Lady. I'm paying for the green background. Okay, awesome. Thank you. It will stay green then. And Jim, it's been 15 months in the depth of the great stay-at-home event that I stumbled in this channel. Yay! I'm usually a slow joiner, but not for this channel. Thanks so much, Jim. We were talking about you, me and Oriental Pearl. Good things, by the way, when we were meeting up. Because she was going, I think she did a video chat with you. So that the morning that I was going to meet her, she was like, oh, I need to do a video chat before we meet, which was quite nice. You should advise JNTO. I wish I could advise JNTO. I have lots of ideas for improving the country. I think ultimately there's an amazing product there. It's just, like I said, I feel like a lot of the time the infrastructure gets to 70%. And that last 30% is what makes all the difference. It's what's creating the bottleneck. I've been seeing, I think that it's definitely all to do with a bottleneck when it comes to over-tourism in Tokyo. Well, not Tokyo, but in Japan. There's a bottleneck specifically at closing times, specifically people rushing to try and get as much done in a very short window when it comes to tourism. Also, buses that might not run so regularly, trains, etc. Specifically during some peak periods in Japan, they need to add more trains, etc. But that all costs money. So I understand how a tourist tax, and this is something that the government has given the go-ahead. They've actually allowed for train companies to raise the price across the board during holidays, public holidays and peak periods. So you can expect that to happen soon also. Yeah, the opening and closing times are a pain, but museums, even in Europe, seem to close early too. Do they? Not necessarily. I don't think so. I mean, some museums are open very late in Europe, actually. Let's see. I know what I like on this channel, basically everything and everyone here. Yay, everyone here is awesome. Totally awesome, I would say. I wish the bus lines in Japan were as easy and convenient as the trains, but not all buses in Japan are created equal. At this point, I'll take a long route if I can avoid a bus. I've had quite a positive experience of using buses generally in Japan. Obviously, when you go into the Inaka, the countryside in Japan, you just need to be aware that a lot of those buses might not be running on time, and that the time in between each bus might be quite substantial. However, generally, I think it is a different way of traveling Japan. You need, especially, taking the bus in Kyoto can be an adventure. It's probably the best way to travel across Kyoto, as Kyoto doesn't really have a major train network. You can use Google Maps. It's usually quite accurate. However, I do understand how less convenient it might appear to begin with anyway. But overall, I've even used the bus for traveling within Tokyo. Sometimes the bus is a great way of traveling in shorter distances in Tokyo, even better than the train at times. Drunk Japanese on the train stations platforms always stand out. I don't think foreign tourists are any different. Thank you. It's a tax you have to pay for the long haul flight. That's my moan. Yeah, yours and everyone else's. Hey, Kogolin, I went to Odate this past week, which was beautiful. Saw snow and had to use Google Translate to get around. And how was it? I hope you had a great time. I went to Odate and I loved it, actually. So I love those sort of places. Dogashima is utterly beautiful, but it's utterly hard to visit. To me, ferry from Numazu is best, but you will never see foreign tourists here. So that's a great place to go to then. Went in October. And since I take people who are new, we did the golden route. This is the thing. I mean, people who go to Japan for the very first time, maybe even the first and the second time, might want to sort of stay around the golden route. The only two places that were the crowds bothered me were Arishiyama and Hiroshima Peace Museum, which was scary crowded. Wow. I think the main places, I'm trying to think of places that can be incredibly crowded. Specifically in Kyoto, Fushimi Inari can be like crazy crowded. This time round, I went to Meiji Jingu. That shocked me, the amount of people that were in Meiji Jingu. For those of you who watched the stream walking to Meiji Jingu, I was shocked. I've never seen so many people walking. The stream of people was intense. Ikebukuro was like on another level of crowded also. And then it also depends whether it's a public holiday or not. When I was in Ikebukuro, it was a public holiday, so. Toara, you got such neat knowledge, but you only share the good rarely. However, I appreciate the reality checks too. 100%. I think it's important to have people that can give us, a balanced view of things here on this channel. I'm a positive guy. I think that even my 14 things I hate about Japan was relatively positive. I'm sorry, guys. I tried to be negative, but I'm not very sure I was so negative. I mean, those 14 things I hate about Japan, they do get to me. I don't think they're like deal breakers or anything. I mean, they're so silly. Like, I hate the fact that you don't get tissues or napkins. Oh my God, deal breaker. Not really. But still, when you go to Japan and you're a freaking messy eater, and those of you guys know what a messy eater I am, right? So you know that I need a napkin or I will end up with my face full of cream. So, yeah. Get on the Kyoto bus at Kyoto Station and never get off at any other stop until you get there. You will never be able to get back on at any other stop. If you're told the local buses are not fun, I can imagine. And Japan Ichiban says, sometimes the metro stations in Tokyo are so very deep. It takes 10 minutes to get down to the platform, then 10 minutes to the other side. A 20-minute bus trip might be a better to be fair. Yeah, I've used the bus plenty of times. Like for example, to go from Roppongi to Shibuya or Shinjuku, I've used the bus probably more than the train at one point anyway. So, hey Robert, thanks so much. Why does it seem like the Japanese government hate foreigners? Ooh, that is a difficult question to answer. But you've got a super chat, so if you want to change your color, please let me know and I will. But why does it seem that the Japanese government hate foreigners? I think that there's I don't think the Japanese government hate foreigners. I don't think generally Japanese people hate foreigners. I think that that there are certain things that generally Japanese people dislike. One of them being people being loud, which a lot of foreigners unfortunately are, and one of them is people not following rules. Um, it's something that I see often. I see foreigners very often sort of saying, like, I'm not like, why? What's the point of this rule? The rule doesn't make sense. And even I look at the rule and I think to myself, wait a minute, this rule doesn't make sense. But I've been to Japan plenty of times now to know just do what the rule says, regardless of whether you think it makes sense or not. It's going to be much quicker. It's going to get you there at the end, and it's just going to be much easier, even though it doesn't really, it's not logical. A lot of rules are not logical. So I think that many times that coupled with noisy tourists can cause this sort of view of not necessarily the Japanese government, but the Japanese people not necessarily liking foreigners. However, from my experience, I think that in general, most Japanese people are fine with foreigners. Obviously, there are a few people that might not like foreigners. Ultimately, it is on a base by base case. And also, I would say, Robert, that there's a difference between, and this is a very clear difference between Japanese people liking tourists and liking foreign residents in Japan. I think Japanese people are more tolerant of tourists, in my opinion, than, for example, their Western neighbor who is making noise upstairs and clonking their feet on the floor. But yeah, difficult question to answer. I'd love to know what people say in the chat, by the way. Okay, back to it. Where were we? I love catching the buses, especially in off-the-track places. You get to see so many places that you wouldn't normally see. Yeah, and also buses might get you to some locations that much closer with less walking. I had an amazing time. I loved it there so much. I could see myself living in a place like it. They held the 100th celebration for Hachi, and it was touching. Oh yeah, it was the 100th celebration for Hachi. It was really cool. I liked. Did you see my vlog on it? I did a vlog. I think it might be on Happy Gaijin. I can't remember what channel I put it on, but I did do a vlog in the area. If you want uncrowded places, go to Chiba Park. I mean, this is something that I'm working on. I'm actually editing now a video of less crowded places that hopefully will be live next week. But there's plenty of opportunities for less crowded places or places that are less touristy. In even within Tokyo, you can go to places makes you feel like you're in the Inaka. Very, very easy to do. So hopefully I'll be able to guide you. I'm mainly doing the Golden Route, first time ever in Japan. Agree, but I've got so far south to Ibusuki and as far north as Shin Aomori spelling. So I've got so I've not kept myself to the main cities. Well done. I applaud you, because a lot of people just literally stick to Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and maybe Hiroshima. So the fact that you've gone to those places and you've been adventurous and seen some of these other places, I think it's the best way to do it, really. Hey, I'm a minimum 4 napkin person myself, so you get me then, right? We caught the bus to Reigando Cave in Kumamoto and missed the stop. We stayed on the bus to the end of the line. The driver took us back to the turn off and told us what time to catch the bus back. I'm glad they helped you, because sometimes some of these places... Everyone needs napkins. I've started resorting to trying to remember to carry napkins. But at this rate, it's like, I have to carry napkins. I have to carry a handkerchief to dry my hands, you know. I have to carry a bag of coins. I have to carry all the litter that I have to, like, that I've been accumulating until I find the vending like a vending machine spot, a conveni or train station. Yeah, you end up carrying so much stuff. We saw some amazing things on that trip. Sounds pretty amazing. Sounds very fun. Don't underestimate the walking time between platforms within the stations like Tokyo Station and Shinjuku. That's a whole other thing. Shinjuku is a whole other thing. But yeah. This isn't true. The Japan LDP government told JNTO, which is the Japan Tourism Organization, to promote foreign tourists. They utterly sacrifice the peace of the country to make money. When in Rome, all you need to remember in Japan. I agree. This is my sort of motto. This is what I do. I look around and I see what people are doing, and I try to act as close as I can to them. So before, when masks was a big thing, you know, there was a lot of debate whether you should mask up or you should not mask up. It was a recommendation, and I would just look around, and if I saw that there were lots that everybody was wearing masks, then I would wear a mask, and if I saw that nobody was wearing masks, then I wouldn't wear a mask. And I think that I live similar when I'm traveling around, you know. Olam Drab says, I think the fact their voting demographics skews a lot older, that could be a big off my lawn factor. Yeah, age could be a factor, and also nationality can be a factor too. Getting lost in any country has you find things you don't know existed. I agree. Japan is full of amazing things, so when you get lost, often the only way to find things that locals don't think are amazing. I agree. I wish I prepared my legs more for this trip. I had done more off the beaten path, but it took a couple of weeks before my legs and feet stopped hating me for 20,000 steps a day. I get it. I do think the Golden Route is good for the first time trip to Japan, as it's very dense on things to do, so you can fit a lot into a couple of weeks. Yeah, I think the Golden Route for a first timer is definitely, you know, what needs to be done. But I also think that you should definitely add some places that are less visited. You'll get a different side of Japan with less queues, better photos, etc. Basic men kit is a coin purse and handkerchief. Why is it hard to understand? I wonder what napkins did to Japan for it to ban them. You know what? When I put that 14 things I hate about traveling in Japan video out yesterday, I wasn't expecting to get so many people on my side regarding the napkin one. The napkin, you know, the number 14, which is the napkins, was probably my least, you know, like, annoyance, to be honest. And the amount of people that were like, yeah, I get you, I'm with you on the napkins, like, yeah, shocking. There were more comments. There are more comments on the comment section about the lack of napkins than about the squat toilets, believe it or not. So yeah, actually, I was talking to Oriental Pearl about this, and she mentioned about carrying trash. She's like, and on top of it, you end up carrying so much trash, and sometimes. And I know that people say, you know, go to conveni, go to a vending machine area. Usually, you can dispose of trash, or at train stations, etc. But sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes you're a little bit more inaka, and you know, you might be walking around accumulating a lot of trash. And like Oriental Pearl said to me, and then you get to the hotel room, and you've been walking around with all this trash with you from the whole day. You've been busy and you haven't actually been able to throw it around because it's just ended up at the bottom of your bag, and you just add more, and you add more trash to the bottom of your bag. And then you get to the hotel room, and your hotel room has the tiniest little bin, trash can. So You can't throw it outside, but you can't even throw it in the hotel room because the hotel room trash can is too small. Personally, I put it in a bag and I put it next to the trash can, but I understand. Hey, Frog Lady, have a good one. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I'm ashamed to admit that next February, my third trip, when I finally go through the golden route. Don't be ashamed. Do what you love, guys. I'm not gonna shame anybody for doing anything in Japan. I think everyone is very individual and very, everybody can do their style of trip. There's some people that literally just stay in Tokyo, some people that fly to Kyoto and they do Kyoto and Osaka. Some people who completely miss the big cities and they just do the smaller locations. I met a guy in my travels around Tohoku that was literally every year he just goes back to Tohoku. It was like his 30th trip traveling around Tohoku, which was quite interesting. Everyone has their style, and I'm no one to tell anybody to do it any different, but I am gonna try and advise people to explore outside of their comfort zone and to explore and find some other things to see in Japan, because there's a lot. Jesse says, squat toilets aren't that bad. Napkins and trash are far worse. You see what I mean? People's comments were very similar to that. Enjoy molding young minds. Ian, I think I finally settled on my next trip to be Kanazawa and Tokyo with some day trips to places like Ashikaga. Oh my goodness, you've been watching my videos. Thank you so much. Kanazawa is a great location and a great alternative to Kyoto in a way. It's a really walkable city too, which makes things very easy to navigate in a way. And I think two nights, 3 nights in Kanazawa, if you want to take a more laid back approach. There's plenty to see. There's plenty to see around the area also. And hopefully you'll be able to use my guide, especially the new things to do in Kanazawa, because there's some really, really cool things. I know some viewers have already been going to those things from that video. Somebody sent me a photo on Instagram of them eating in that really interesting dashi restaurant, and they were like, oh my god, it was amazing, thanks for the tip. I think that was the only thing that they did from the video. So pick and choose from that video what things work for you. And then when it comes to day trips, yeah, Ashikaga might be a great day trip, but it might also make for a good one night away too. Yeah, plenty of things to do. Good evening, Mark G. How are you doing, my mate? I have to go back next month for grave cleaning and visiting relatives. But there will be Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Yay! Sounds great. Basic streamer kit. Wallet, phone, microphone, gimbal, pocket Wi-Fi, battery, power bar, cables, wind muffs, spare chat phone, selfie stick, and we also have to carry trash, etc. Exactly. And you know what? I've lost my freaking wind muffs for my DJI mic. This is for something else, not for my DJI mic. And you know what the crazy thing is? That I went to Yodobashi and they said, oh no, DJI don't 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 sell them. Don't sell them as spares. What? How the hell? So yep, the trash cans are tiny. Also, Japan is a different country after dark. I agree. It's been amazing seeing places when lights are on and off, especially in big cities. Yeah, I mentioned this in my Shinjuku guide. Shinjuku really is a city with two faces, I swear. If there is a city, if there is an area in Tokyo that I would say has two faces, it's Shinjuku. It's like one whole thing, one like beast of an area during the day, and then it's another completely different beast of an area at night. Definitely. Loved Kanazawa. Japan, Japan, Japan. I second that. I second that. And you know what? I wasn't a big fan until I went back and I actually slowed down. I think sometimes there are certain cities that you just need to slow down. It's a slow city. Hello, Mr. Guy that likes to pack. Hello, chat. Hey, hello, pilot lad. How are you doing? By the way, for those of you who are watching, I know that the Patreon bar is missing, but it's because I'm literally back to my winter streaming setup, and I'm still setting everything up. So I don't remember going to Kanazawa, but I always Kagoshima City. Kagoshima City is pretty nice. It's just really far away. That's the only thing. Logos ran. Kanazawa was great. Doing fine now. Managed to grab the big C, resulting in 2 days, 39 degrees fever. Oh my god. I'm glad you're feeling better, dude. Hey, you guys should have been in the days of film photography. That's true. Maeda can really manage Kanazawa region very well, but people there have an unhealthy obsession with gold leaf here. I don't think this is right. Have you ever used an overnight sleeper train to get from one place to another? And if so, would you recommend it? I haven't, little big sis. I just haven't had the opportunity to use one. Would I recommend it? I probably would. If I had the chance and it made sense for me, then I probably would. I've used some other overnight sleeper trains in other countries. I've used an overnight sleeper train in Morocco plenty of times. In Morocco, also, I traveled basically from the north to the south of Vietnam on a sleeper train over something like an 18-hour train ride. That was an experience. So if I was okay with those two countries, then Japan's going to be on another level. Stick a Pokemon on the microphone. Yeah, right here, right? I'm going to have to stick a Pokemon there. Yeah, COVID's doing the rounds for sure. For sure. I want to use an overnight train and also bus. I really don't like bullet trains so much. I love bullet trains, but I get that there's you know, a bit for everything. All right. I'm in Akihabara and got back after walking around at 3 a.m. It was so quiet. I didn't think I was in the same place. Yeah, definitely. See, these places, you know, have two faces. And also, surprisingly, there are certain areas in Tokyo that are like 24-hour areas, Shinjuku being one, where, you know, like things are happening 4 or 5 in the morning. But then there are certain areas in Tokyo where things sort of close down at midnight, surprisingly. So the Birmingham of Japan. What? Birmingham is the Venice of the UK. What? I hope YouTube ads pay you a lot. Got every few minutes they threw in an ad. Did they? Ooh, interesting. Yeah, interesting. Thanks. YouTube ads don't pay that much, let's just say. I hate Shinjuku. It's Tokyo's high town and so artificial, but my relatives always make me go there for dinner. Shinjuku, as those of you who've been followers of this channel, I have a love-hate relationship with Shinjuku. I like Shinjuku in small doses, I would say. I think Shinjuku is a very fun city, a very fun area in Tokyo, and I will 100% like spend the night there and knowing that I'm going to be partying, but I probably wouldn't necessarily use it as a base, or maybe at least Kawaguchiko. Kabukicho. I wouldn't use that as a base again. But, you know, maybe somewhere like where Japan Ichiban was staying, which was a little bit more like local Shinjuku, that might work. I don't want an ice cream covered with gold leaf. I just want ice cream, please. Yeah. 1,000 yen for gold leaf ice cream. Wow. I made my own chopsticks, gold leaf chopsticks. That was pretty cool. Ooh, Chris, okay. What would be the best portable Wi-Fi? Ninja Wi-Fi or Sakura? We would need to pick it up from Narita, but then leave it off at Kansai as we fly out of Osaka. You're gonna ask me. I have an affiliate link with Sakura Mobile, and it serves me very well every single year, every single time that I travel to Japan. Let me just put it on here. If you use my Sakura Mobile affiliate link, then I will get a small commission at no additional cost to you, and you'll be helping the channel also. It's definitely something that's very much trusted by the Ninja Monkey community. A lot of people from Ninja Monkey use Sakura Mobile. I've never used Ninja Wi-Fi, to be honest, totally honest. I can only tell you what I've used. I'm going to be telling you. I've used Sakura Mobile. I've used Ubigi, and I've used Pupuru. The three of them work really well, but Sakura Mobile is the one that helps pay the bills in terms of YouTube. So, yeah. There are a lot of places in Tokyo that are super active during the day, and tourists are shocked at how quiet they are at night. Totally. Caroline is still here. I like taking pictures in Shinjuku, but I don't like staying there. I can see that. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Perhaps I've got it all wrong. You know that I'm a little bit bipolar when it comes to Shinjuku. Like, one moment I'm like, I hate it. And then the next moment I'm like, maybe I will stay in Shinjuku again. I think that I would definitely stay in Shinjuku again if I'm with somebody else, but I wouldn't probably stay in Shinjuku again on my own, basically. Hi Nathan, I honestly want to go to Shinjuku to see Godzilla and the 4D cats. Yeah, Shinjuku's awesome in that respect. You know, the Godzilla is pretty cool, and the 4D cat is pretty cool. Once you've seen it though. Does anyone have any recommendations for places to stay, visit on Lake Biwa? I don't know why, but there's always been on my list of places to visit in Japan, but it's always been a vague idea. Those ideas are the most exciting one, Little Big Sis 2007, because those places, ones that are a little bit more obscure, a little bit completely off the tourist map, are the ones that need to do a lot more, research for how to get there, where to stay, etc. And I go to plenty of places like that. Usually they take me 10 times longer than for planning compared to some of the other places that I go to. I'll be heading to Shinjuku here shortly because I forgot to get something whilst there. Then heading to Nippori Fabric Town to look for fabric for work to make special things. What special things are you going to make? I want to know what special things you're going to make. Please, don't just say special things. Tell us. Yeah, Kabukicho is its own thing. I think so, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Shinjuku, if I were to raise a family, I would choose Koiwa, Kameido, or even Funabashi. I simply can't stand the Tokyo High Town. Have you ever been to Kanda Shrine in Akihabara? Great place to visit up the hill. I'm having my pocket Wi-Fi delivered to my hotel. That has always worked well for me so far. Yeah, I usually have my pocket Wi-Fi delivered to my hotel too, and then I post it on the last day. Ohio, Johnny Sakura is here. How are you doing, Johnny Sakura? Johnny has changed his name. I know who you are because of the image. But you weren't Johnny Sakura before, were you? You were just Johnny. Shinjuku's great until I ended up on the wrong side. Alminox, 6 a.m. OMG, Alminox, seriously? Of course, it's 6 a.m. How are you doing? Thanks for being here. And thanks for being here at 6 a.m. Dude, that's awesome. Arigatou gozaimasu. Hope you're doing well up there in Hokkaido. And big hello to your wifey, as you call her. I enjoyed visiting Shinjuku, but we really had our best Japanese experience outside of Tokyo. Yeah. Kamata Tokyo is somewhat peaceful during the day, but at night there is too much prostitution. Facts with Towada. Tourists love Shinjuku, but my Japanese friends say that's not real Japan. It's dirty. It is kind of dirty. I'm going to my girlfriend's ancestors' castle town in Hikone, so I will see Lake Biwa for the first time. I think maybe you can go to Hikone. Cool. Maybe you could stay in Hikone. Yeah. Amirul, you're in Malaysia. Awesome. Wow. Actually, where's everyone? Where is everyone watching from? That's a interesting one. I know we have people from Japan, we have people from the UK. I'm here in Europe in Gibraltar, back in Japan in, what did I say? 6 weeks and 2 days? I can't remember now, something like that. Or I'm starting to make my way that way in 6 weeks and 2 days. Oh, I'm a pet groomer, so I want to make things for my clients like bandanas and that sort of item. Wow, cool. Nice, nice. Pet groomer. Johnny Sakura, yep. That happened to me all the time. Right now Japan, but normally Texas. Okay. Okay, so we got Japan right now, but normally Texas. Kentucky in the USA. Hey, Jay. I love the lizard avatar. Hello, watching from Florida. Puerto Rico. Hola. Yo no sabías, ¿tú hablas español? Slick with the kicks. Yo no sabía que hablabas español, o sí lo sabía, no sé. Dying Goal, oh my god, the dude, the legend himself. Still traveling, always traveling. I hope you, look, in your honor, I am drinking, and I don't know what you think about this, but I'm drinking an Alhambra. How can I show you this? I'm drinking an Alhambra Especial. It's quite a nice little beer, Alhambra Especial. Alhambra Especial. Dying Gold, thanks so much for the super sticker. $20. Arigato gozaimasu. Thanks so much. Much appreciated, dude. Awesome. Let's see, who else? Where's everyone watching from? That's what we're doing right now. Amsterdam. Caroline, I want to visit Amsterdam. Would you give me a tour if I go to Amsterdam? My brother's there actually next weekend. Fort Worth in Texas, nice one. Watching from the freezing northeast of England here, wow. Watching from Wales. Where in Wales are you watching from? You know that I studied in Cardiff and I lived in Pontypridd for a short time. Northern California, USA, and not Japan right now. Evening from the UK, Becca. Awesome. Wow, so many people. Perfect, I will give Sakura a go and use your link. Thanks so much. Thank you. I pay the minimum insurance normally. I pay the minimum. There's like a minimum insurance. Alberta, Canada. I bet you it's getting cold in Alberta, Canada. I mean, today was 23 degrees here in Gibraltar, believe it or not. I mean, it's very, very, but it's not, this is not normal, I have to say. Florida, but in talks with a school in Japan to transition there after 4 years in Korea. Awesome. So you're in Florida, okay. Did you ever consider not traveling to Japan, but possibly some other countries within Asia? That's a good question. You know what, the pilot lad, I've traveled quite a few places in Asia, and normally my method of travel is normally in the summer. I have you know, 6 7 weeks. Last year I was in Japan last summer for 6 weeks. But normally what I would do is I would probably start in Japan and then fly off to another Asian country for 10 days or 12 days, and then fly back to Japan and continue my trip across Japan. I guess that you know, the channel sort of growing has sort of meant that now I'm trying to focus more on Japan, Japan travel, just because that's what people want to see. And I know that if I was to put out a vlog, you know, in Cambodia or whatever, people just wouldn't watch it from the channel. People are not interested in that kind of thing. So it's sort of become something that I'm pursuing as a result of you, the audience, you know, what the audience want to see. But I'm very happy doing so. I love Japan. And in terms of traveling to other countries in Asia, I mean, I've been to South Korea, I've been to Vietnam, I've been to Cambodia, I've been to Thailand, and there's a few other places I'd like to go to. Singapore, for example, and I'd like to go to Taiwan. Those are places that I could easily do as, you know, short trips from Japan. So I might do that. Why not? Drinking beer, indeed. Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, etc. I haven't been to Philippines. I want to go to Indonesia, and I want to go to Singapore. I salute that beer had a lot of that this week in Alicante. I salute you, amigo. Thanks for being here. Wow, the pilot lad is in the south of Lebanon. I know you've told me this before, but I'm always like wowed by that. I've been to Kinoseki Onsen. I haven't been to Beppu. I want to go, so that's someone I want to go to. Yeah. One more jump to home, then to DC tomorrow. Oh, MG, dude, how'd you do it? Watching from Iwate, the Cleese, awesome. I mean, it fascinates me that so many people watch from Japan also. Georgia, USA, for some reason. Studied in Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth. That's a difficult one to say. Yay! If you visit Amsterdam, I'll give you a tip for sure. Okay, I'll start working on potentially being able to go maybe for a long weekend or something. California, also, I'm in Newport, so just next door to Cardiff. Newport. Ah, you know something funny about Newport? Little Big Sis. I went to university in Cardiff, and I remember one night out, I went to Newport, and I swear to you, I don't know if things have changed, but Newport was a little bit rough. Like, I remember being in the queue for the ATM machine to get some cash out, and there must have been maybe 15 people on that night out, like in the queuing up to use the ATM. And in the time that I was in the ATM, 3 separate fist fights broke out on that ATM. I swear. Have things changed? Iwate, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Cool. Logan is in London. Logan, I'm going to be in London in February. Hopefully we can catch up. We can actually meet up, maybe. Hopefully. LA, back in the clay. First snow in Hokkaido was yesterday. Not a lot, but it was officially fallen. Awesome. Cool. 7 degrees, so really good for this time of the year. Okay. I want to ski Furano this year. Furano. I like Furano. It may pay to check out your bank for travel insurance if you're in the UK. True. You go back to China. Quiero viajar para Japón, pero no usan servilletas. Slick the Kick says, I want to travel to Japan, but they don't use napkins. Funny guy. In California, we are expecting our first winter rains this week. We need rain here, guys, in the south of Spain, Europe. I have a family in Mid Wales, so I used to go to Aberystwyth a lot growing up. There's a bakery near the castle that is one of our favorite places. The custard slices are huge. Custard. Yeah. You did via Patreon. And Nathan is on a first name basis with everyone, even the plane maintenance crew and baggage handlers, because of his repeated travel to and from Japan. Not quite, not quite. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Yusuf, Chris Broad, and the Only in Japan fella are the only ones that don't annoy me. I hope I don't annoy you, Chris. Oh, yourself. Okay, me. Thank God for that. I missed the yourself part. Since you live in Gibraltar, I'm curious, are there macaque monkeys there? There are, which is why I'm called Ninja Monkey. I'm called Ninja Monkey because my hometown, Gibraltar, is the only place in Europe that has wild monkeys. Yeah, Dangle, thanks for it's always good to chat. Talking about tourist challenges in Japan, and one of the things that I've mentioned now that you're here, not necessarily talking about overcrowding, but I'm talking mostly about the infrastructure that leads to issues with tourists. And I think that one of the main things is bottlenecks as a result of opening and closing hours. A lot of tourist sites, I mentioned this before, open at around 10 in the morning, which is quite late. And a lot of them close at around 4 or 5 p.m., which is quite early. And some of these places, they operate on the basis that they have last entry half an hour before they close, meaning that you end up starting to get a bottleneck of people, an influx of people trying to make the most of the days, and that creates all sorts of issues of overcrowded buses, etc. And I think that by extending hours, even if it meant increasing ticket prices, having a tourist tax and increasing ticket prices slightly to extend operating hours by an hour or two, would make a huge difference to the challenges of those bottlenecks that are caused as a result of everyone trying to rush and do everything in a very short amount of time. So that's one of the things that we were discussing. I was also discussing how sometimes I feel like Japan, in terms of tourism infrastructure, goes sort of like, I would say, 70% of the way or 80% of the way, but that last 20% that they don't fully commit in the product. I mentioned that as an example, like coin lockers which only take 100 yen coins, but they cost 800 yen. And if you have a 500 yen coin, it won't accept it. And a lot of people don't walk around carrying 100 yen coins specifically. And it means that then tourists are confused. They then have to try and find change. There's no change machines. They have to queue up at the station, causing another bottleneck, which is unnecessary, um, just to put their luggage in a locker. Those are just some of the examples of things that could potentially, be fixed. Another one is, too many long queues because of lack of cashiers or ticket vendors, and simply adding one or two more, ticket machines will help speed things up once again. Again, some of these places, like contactless, which most of them do have, like contactless Suica, etc. But trying to encourage that would work. Also, what else was I gonna say? Kawaguchiko, for example, had a very, very, very relatively okay bus service, except for the last bus was like at 5 p.m., which meant that you'd have all of these tourists just before 5 p.m. panicking, trying to get onto the buses, and causing all sorts of chaos and problems. This is just an example of how very simple tweaks can potentially alleviate some of the biggest problems with tourism in Japan. And I think that a tourist tax raising tickets just a little bit to compensate and to provide more personnel, more staff, potentially more English speakers, etc., would definitely help in this regard. I want to know your thoughts, everyone. I learned the rush hour times real quick too for trains bus in Tokyo. Yeah, Kagolin, I definitely try to keep away from rush hour, 100% when I'm in Tokyo. Oh, the monkey has been explained. Yeah. Also, I'm a bit of a monkey, so Kyoto is in trouble. Big sites are just overwhelmed now. Maybe hours might help, but the buses create a huge crunch. Yeah, I mean, I know that that Kyoto are adding additional bus services, so that's something that is being done. Hopefully, that will help. And in terms of hours, I think that that might potentially help a little bit. Um, but just put the prices up, you know. Of all the themed cafes in Japan, which would be your favorite? I plan on visiting the Pig Cafe in January when I go. I want to go to the Pig Cafe. I haven't been to the Pig Cafe. And I would say the Pokemon Cafe is probably my favorite. I'm not going to lie. Not having staffing up to pre-pandemic levels on general infrastructure also causes issues. 100% Alminox. I think not just up to pre-pandemic levels, but let's be honest here. And I know that you travel to Japan quite often, but I've definitely, you know, as somebody who's been traveling to Japan since 2014, every single year, sometimes multiple times a year, I've noticed very little change in terms of personnel. From 2014, I've been to places in Kyoto, for example, that have exactly the same amount of staff as what they had in 2014 when the amount of tourism was half of what there is now, and yet they have not improved or they have not employed more people. Even worse, your fact, which is that some of the general infrastructure hasn't got up to pre-pandemic levels, so it's probably even worse than 2014. So the 2019 Rugby World Cup ran smoothly. By 2022, the system fell apart. So why did it run smoothly? What was special about it? And what can we learn from it? Basically, is what I'm asking. By the way, everyone, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're watching this now, then please subscribe. Please say hi, and I'd love to know your thoughts on all of these things. We have a great community here that can help you out with travel. And please check out my latest video, 14 things I hate about Japan. The most positive 14 things that anybody could say about Japan. Rome is a good model. They've started charging for the Forum, Pantheon, etc. just to relieve a bit of traffic in the summer. I think people would still pay. I think that there are certain things in Japan that could be limited to the amount of people. I mean, even when I went to Cambodia, to the temples in Cambodia, I remember that there was only a certain amount of people allowed every day, and after that, you know, you need to get a ticket, pay, etc. Yeah, if I see I'm trying to do the trains around those times, I find more to do in the area I'm in. What I tend to do is either two things. Either I try to get the train before the peak peak train time in the morning rush hour, or I start getting on the train at around maybe, I would say 9:15. That's sort of doable, quarter past 9, 20 past 9. The trains are still packed at that time. However, they're not as packed as, you know, before 9. and it's the tail end. So even though they're still busy, you'll see people, the train, you start in a very full train, but people start getting off at stations, and by the end of where you're going, you're probably going to have a relatively empty train. Not good that system from 2019 has regressed. That's when I was last in Nippon. Yeah. Seems only logical to go elsewhere than Kyoto. They have too much tourism. Other places could use it. I agree. There's plenty of places, and I think, you know, like, I noticed that Kanazawa is very wise in a way with a tourism offering. I think they're a city that doesn't promote tourism to Chinese people. They promote mainly to European tourists, actually. I have a reservation there tomorrow. I did the Osaka one, but wanted to do the Tokyo as well. Cool. What are your thoughts, everyone, on the reintroduction of the tip glass? I always liked it. Hey, Aileen Loretto, how are you doing? Hi, everyone. Hi, Nathan. Hi. Shiba Inu Cafe would be a must go for me and my friends. I haven't been to any. I've only been to the cat cafe and to a rabbit cafe. It's probably the most boring out of the two. But I love to go to a Shiba Inu cafe. I love to go to a ferret cafe, and I love to go to a piglet cafe. Don't do the IOC. That's the lesson every time. Okay, the World Cup, Rugby World Cup, 2020 Olympics were all part of ABE's push to increase tourism. The pandemic really hit the Olympics plan, and the metro government just changed priorities away from tourism. Annoying fact, YouTube Japan inserts 2 ads every 5 minutes. What? Of your stream? Every 5 minutes? So sometimes I miss half a minute of content. Every 5 minutes? Are you kidding me? YouTube Japan. What the hell? Aha. So this I would agree with you. I agree with you here, Tawada. Nathan-san, please understand JNTO pushes foreign tourists onto the country and they do not care about infrastructure. They have done their job. Yeah. Part of the problem, right? There are plenty of places. And also I think a lot of the key here is to travel early. If you can travel early to some of these locations, you know, like I'm talking about before 9 in the morning, then you might have a chance. Okay, Chris, I want to talk to you about the luggage delivery service from the airport to the hotel, because I tried to use it and I failed. Not that I failed, but I chose not to use it basically because basically I failed to use it because I arrived at 7 in the morning. I was at the luggage place by 8 in the morning, and they said to me, oh, we're very busy, we've been very busy, and you won't receive your luggage until like 7 or 8 p.m. tonight in the hotel. That for me was too late, specifically because I had to do something and I had to get changed and I needed my luggage. But I think that it's very doable. Just be aware that your luggage might arrive later than you anticipate it to arrive. So I think in the future, if I want to forward my luggage from the hotel to the airport, from the airport to the hotel, sorry, I will just carry a small bag with what I need for a shower, etc., and still forward it. All those cafes sound delicious. I want to go to Harry Potter Land. Harry Potter Land is pretty cool. I love it. Great point on JNTO. They absolutely suck. YouTube America has a ton of ads too, sad to say. How many ads have you guys been getting? I mean, I turned on ads, but I didn't expect it to be I turned on ads, but I thought it was like one every half an hour at least, you know, minimum or maximum. I would have to go to the Pom Pom Pudding Cafe or Cat Cafe. Dude, have a safe trip, my friend. Have a safe trip, and thanks so much for the super chat. Thanks so much for your support. I have YouTube Premium also, actually, so. Yeah. We're sort of coming to the end of the stream, but I'd like to open the next few minutes to any questions or any information that you're looking for. We do have a good number of people, and in fact, we only have 30 likes. Do you think we can get more than 30 likes? That would be pretty cool. So, question time, everyone. Question and answer time. Oh, it's still warm here, actually. Why is tourism broken in Japan? The infrastructure isn't quite there yet. They're running on pre-pandemic infrastructure. They're actually running on infrastructure that hasn't changed in many years. There's a creation of bottlenecks as a result of all tourists trying to do the same things at the same time. Opening hours are quite limited across many tourist sort of like places, and it just causes a bottleneck. There's sometimes a lack of buses. Buses might finish a little bit too early at times in certain locations, etc. What was the best and worst experience of your last trip? Okay, I had some really good experiences in my last trip. Alminox, surprisingly, I had a lot of fun in Halloween. I was a little bit apprehensive, but I really enjoyed it. I think my best experience was definitely going to Lake Kawaguchiko, and we had perfect weather for Mount Fuji, and it was just a really beautiful trip where I rented a bicycle and cycled around. What was the worst experience of my latest trip? I think, unfortunately, there were times where the crowds were a little bit exhausting, especially I think with tourists not knowing what to do. I think this is one of the main issues that causes issues, is when tourists are not given the information that they need to do or to get to places. That's one of the main issues, I think, and I did help quite a few tourists out that were stuck, not knowing, you know, what bus to get, not knowing where to go, not knowing the times of the buses, etc. Yeah. I wonder how much of a problem is pent-up demand from the pandemic. It can be, I guess it is part of the problem also. I'm sure you've answered this already, but when's your next trip, Nathan? I really enjoy your Japan live streams. Oh, thanks so much. My next trip is in 6 weeks and 2 days time. 6 weeks and 2 days time. It will be a New Year's trip actually, and it will be a 12-day trip, so it will be a little bit longer than the one I've just had now. Nearly double what I've had, just about double the amount of time that I was in Japan this time. The one after that will be across the end of March and the beginning of April, and then after that it will be summer most likely, so still a few trips to go. I enjoy streaming. What do I hate about Japan? Number 14, I hate napkins, the lack of napkins. I can't remember the list now. I hate the expensive taxis. I hate smoking rooms. I hate the freaking squat toilets. Crowds, especially around holidays, public holidays. Lack of hand dryers. I mentioned this before. Yeah, quite a few things. Coins, the amount of coins that you carry. Vending machines that don't accept Suica. I know that's a little not a big deal, but it really pisses me off for some reason. Hi Nathan, have you been to Cielito Lindo in Tokyo? I don't even know what Cielito Lindo is. Tell me what Cielito Lindo is. I'm going to search that. Cielito Lindo, Tokyo. Cielito Lindo, where is it? A restaurant? And should I go? And why should I go? You need to tell me why I should go. Do you think more English speaking in Japan is needed for a better touristic experience? I dropped something. I don't think it's 100% needed. I think that also part of the adventure is, trying to communicate. Better instructions, better signage, yes. Ooh, will there be a Ninja Monkey meetup? I'm not very sure. M Rider, how long are you going to be there for? Till when? Ooh, New Year's trip and March, so you'll see some sakuras. I can't wait. That will be fun. Hopefully I'll see some sakuras. You never know with sakura season. To be honest, obviously it coincides with sakura, but it doesn't, or it hopefully coincides with sakura, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the reason why I'm going. But if the sakura, obviously it's going to be a big part of it. I always feel like I wind up with a huge pile of coins by the end of my trip to Japan, 100%. Hey, heading to the beach. Nice day, thanks Ninja Monkey-san. Hey dude, to the beach. Nice one. Are you gonna live stream? Are you live streaming? Sumo, you need to check. The thing with sumo is that it's like a traveling thing. Different regions have sumo at different times of the year, so you'd have to check that out. That's when I'm leaving. I'm leaving on January the 6th or January the 7th anyway. It's a Mexican restaurant, but it's supposed to be authentic, but Japanese owned. Ooh, I don't think I've been. But it sounds fantastic. Actually, sounds really good. Don't just focus on spring sakura. There are winter ones as well, if you can find them. They're just not as common and widespread. There's so much beauty at all times of the year, I'll be there all December until January the 6th. So M Rider, hopefully we can, I'm always happy to try to meet up with people, even if it's for a quick drink, Sometimes I haven't done a meetup specifically, but I've said to a subscriber that wants to meet me, hey, like I'm a bit busy or whatever, but I have 1 hour. We can have a beer, we can have a coffee, we can hang out for an hour if you want, that sort of thing. I might not be able to commit fully. Or sometimes I've even been like, hey, look, it's my last day, I don't have any time, but I'm gonna be shopping, you can hang around with me whilst I shop. People like to do that also. Sumo is in Fukuoka this month. Okay, there you go. Some trains are reserved only. Specifically the Tokaido Shinkansen or the Tohoku Shinkansen, I think, is reserved only. You're right. I wouldn't want to stand by the door though, personally. Hey, Stephen. Hi, new to the channel, but getting great info for my first trip, and it will be to Japan in March. Awesome. Great, Stephen. I'm so glad that you've been able to hopefully get some inspiration from the channel and some good tips, etc. And we have a really good bunch of people here that are very keen to help. I think the great thing about this community and the live stream specifically is the fact that everyone just wants everyone to have a great time in Japan. So I definitely want people to get the most of their trips in Japan. I definitely want people to you know, experience their best Japan trip. Everyone has a different trip after all, you know. Some people travel as families, some people travel on their own. Some people are young, some people are old, some people like adventure, some people like to just stay in one place. That's all fine. And hopefully the channel will be able to, you know, get you prepared. I mean, if you get stuck, obviously, yeah. Right, guys, I am gonna end the stream here, but if you're not a part of the Discord, then check out the Discord channel. You can ask more questions there, etc. Thanks everyone for the super chats. Thanks everyone for the chats, and yeah. Sorry, Stephen, I just want to address this. You said that early morning sun can wake you up. What do you mean, early morning? And well, if you, depends on the time of the year, but for example, in the summer months or the spring going into summer months, the sun will rise at around 4 in the morning, which is really early, you know? So, yeah. And you're 60, you're still young, dude. You're still young. Night, and thanks for the stream. No problem. I'll catch you all in the next one. We have, for those of you who are not subscribed to my Happy Gaijin channel, we do this all over again on a Wednesday stream in the Happy Gaijin. This stream will be moved. I will download it and put it on Happy Gaijin, and I will unlist it from here just to, you know, in a few days time or whatever. But yeah. Morning! I'm just about to say goodbye, good night. Good night, everyone. Stay positive. Thanks for watching. Be happy, Gaijin. Watch my videos! Bye.